at its best, it's fun to watch. Everybody likes to see points put on the board, and everybody likes to see big plays.
Tonight, one of Columbia County's most heated rivalries renewed.
It's a friendly rivalry, but when you get on the field between the white lines, everybody's going to give each other their very best.
They know a lot of these kids, and it's a crosstown rivalry. We know when the game gets there, it's going to be emotional.
The high-powered Greenbrier Wolfpack attack comes to Panther Crossing.
I have total trust in our defensive staff and our defense to be able to, they've come up with a great plan.
They'll possess the football, and you can't score if you don't have it.
Greenbrier, Lakeside.
Every year it's about bragging rights and wanting to best the other team, and I know they want to get us, and we want to get after them.
It's going to get louder. It's a great environment, and it's Lakeside Greenbrier. Who could ask for more?
Welcome to Game Night Live. WJBF Sports presents local high school football live in your living room each Friday night. Game Night Live is powered by McDonald's. I'm loving it. And now your hosts, John Hart and Ashley Brown.
Well, we're right back where we started. 2 weeks ago, we kicked off season 11 of Game Night Live right here at Lakeside High School when the Panthers took on North Augusta. That game had to be finished on Saturday due to weather concerns. No such worries here tonight as we renew one of Columbia County's best rivalries, Lakeside versus Greenbrier. Both teams coming in 0-1, looking for their first wins on the season. And with that, John Hart, joined as always by Ashley Brown. And AB, for those who didn't get to read your column, you see this one very close.
I do. A lot of people, because of the high-powered offense Greenbrier put up last year, some people may favor Greenbrier. But Lakeside, did a good job against North Augusta. They're trying to play that physical brand of football, and I do think it's going to be a really tight game tonight that could go either way.
Two contrasting styles, we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Lakeside's going to run it. I would be surprised if they throw it unless they're behind late. Greenbrier wants to be 50-50. I don't see that. I see it a little more probably 65-35 pass to run.
24th meeting between these two schools, and with that, let's get to our forward keys to the game.
Well, talking about that for Greenbrier, one of the things last year they were pretty one-dimensional. I think they do need to establish the run, and that's the key there is their offensive line play, which was not consistent in the Harlem game. Then also they need to force Lakeside to throw it. Just pack it in. They're going to run. Just pack everybody in. Make them throw the football. And then for Lakeside, play physical, create a turnover or two. When you got a team that's throwing the ball around a little bit, you're able to maybe get a pickoff here or sack the quarterback and get a fumble. And then put pressure on Brooks Pangle. Don't let him sit back there because he can pick you apart.
Down to the field for the coin toss.
Y'all already run fast we do, but we can do the best we can, all right? Make y'all a promise tonight. I would not throw any touchdown passes. Y'all can't throw no flags, all right? Y'all the home team, y'all the visitors, y'all get the call. They got a coin, got a heads and a tails. What is your call?
Tails.
It is the tails. You want to toss. You have the option to kick the ball, receive the ball, defend the goal, or defer your choice in the second half.
You want to defend the clock. Kick it that way.
You want to
defend the clock. Kick it that way.
You want to defer to the second half? That's what your coach said, defer, right?
Sure, yes.
help me help you. Defer. Y'all want the rock, right?
Yeah.
Now do your thing. You want to kick it which way? All right, there you go. You got ahead of yourself. I know what you meant. Just a little bit too fast. Let me receiving. We're kicking. All right, guys, shake hands, bring out your teams.
Well, that would happen to Brooks Pangle when the camera's right in his face live on Game Night Live.
Isn't he supposed to be an Ivy League guy? What's going on?
Oh, that was great.
I bet his family's going to get a laugh out of that one.
So Greenbrier wins the toss. The Wolfpack eventually elect to defer, and the Lakeside Panthers will have the ball first. Kickoff next on Game Night Live. The first Friday in September, and AB, it feels like football weather finally.
I wouldn't call it a crisp in the air, but it's
better than the
there.
first 2 weeks.
Oh, no doubt.
Tell you that.
It's getting there. It's getting to be football weather. And what would you rather have on a Friday night? A rivalry game between two teams looking for that first win. They're going to be hungry. Should be good tonight.
They actually kicked off during the break, and the
Yeah.
official said, "Not so fast, my friends." Now we're getting ready to do it for real. Keegan Morin will boot it away for Greenbrier, and back deep to receive for Lakeside, the speedy Davin Gardner.
Yeah, Gardner did a good job last week, averaging almost 10 yards a carry on 5 carries, or 2 weeks ago against North Augusta.
He'll be driven a foot back deep in his end zone and bring it out. Ball out. Pack thinks they have it.
And they do, I think, yeah.
What a start for Greenbrier.
Yeah, coming out of the pile, number 16 has the football. That is Moffitt. So Matthew Moffitt with the recovery. I'm not sure who hit him. It looked like somebody got him low, and then somebody came and leveled him, kind of threw their body into him. Not sure who got it. Let's see if there's a replay, we can see maybe who got that, who knocked it loose. Tough break for Gardner, who, like I said, coming off a really good performance in week 1 for him, for Lakeside.
We'll get you the Busby's Heating and Air replay now.
And as you see, he gets hit right there. Well, no, it was the first guy that got him. Maybe 31, I think, got him.
So Greenbrier in great field position from the 26, but down goes Pangle.
And I believe that was
Kevin Sapp, I believe.
Well, that's what he's known for. You know, coming into the season, we didn't know him as a runner, although he was kind of the featured runner early against North Augusta. He's known for being a great defensive lineman, and what a start for this Lakeside defense.
Loss of 9. Sapp had a good first game, well, the first quarter of the first game, as you take a look at the Greenbrier offense and the talented pair of wide receivers, Division I prospects they have. And Sapp was having a great game against North Augusta when the Lightning came.
One of those Division I prospects is in the backfield as the running back on this play, and he can run it as well as he can do as a receiver.
And the ball is out again. Pangle will pounce on it. It's still out, and Lakeside has it.
Yeah, Pangle lost it. He kind of overran it almost as he was trying to dive on the football, and it comes loose, and Lakeside comes away with the football. That's Michael Epperly. Epperly with the fumble recovery, so Lakeside gets it right back.
Epperly, a senior on this Lakeside defense, had a sack a year ago.
And great job by the second man through it. Almost punched that ball out of Leverett's hands. Leverett, as I mentioned, a D1 prospect with a lot of offers. Indiana, Minnesota, Akron, Kansas State. Rated as a 3-star prospect. He's only a junior, but unable to hold on to the football.
Well, you heard Steve Hibbets in the pregame say he has confidence in this defense, and they got the ball right back. So a minute in, we have 2 turnovers, and we have Sapp pushing ahead for about 6.
Well, the first defender that hit Sapp, and it might have been A.J. Trupp. We'll talk about him a little more, the 6'5", young man who's committed to Georgia Southern in baseball. He hit Sapp. I'm going to tell you, you better wrap Sapp up. He's 200 pounds. He is a load to bring down. You're not going to get him just hitting him, especially hitting him up high.
Mentioned the 24th meeting between these two teams. Lakeside has won 14 of the previous 23 and 12 of the last 14, but Greenbrier has won 2 of the last 3 as the Pack picks up a fairway forward first down.
Well, and here's the problem for Greenbrier. They've got one of the best passers in the state. They've got a slew of receivers. What they lack are 2 keys and staples to football, though. Is their offensive line play going to be there, and is their defense going to be there? You know, if Lakeside's able to run the football tonight and keep the ball away from that Greenbrier offense, the Panthers could certainly come away with a win here.
Set a Pack first down, obviously a Panther first down at the 42 of Greenbrier into Wolfpack territory. Leverett, 663 yards a year ago, 7 touchdowns as a receiver, and getting interest from Maryland and Indiana, Minnesota, Kansas State.
Yeah, he's got a slew of D1 offers already. And he's a kid. He was a quarterback in rec ball and in middle school, but he was a running quarterback. And then, of course, everybody, because of his height, said he's going to be a perfect receiver. They moved him to receiver in high school, but this year it looks like Greenbrier's plans are to run him a lot more, and he can run the football. Although, you know, on that first play, of course, he fumbled it away.
This is B.J. Grissom.
Yeah, nowhere to really go there.
Not a lot. And be a third down for the Panthers at the Greenbrier 39-yard line. Well, both these teams 0-1. Lakeside lost that game to North Augusta that we started on Game Night Live 2 weeks ago. It finished on Saturday after the lightning delay. And really 2 big plays were the difference in that game. Our statistician Nathan Edwards and I came back on Saturday. We didn't broadcast the game, but we took it in, and were it not for a long touchdown pass right before the end of the half and then a long touchdown run near the end of the game, Lakeside could have won that game.
Yeah. Jason Whitaker, first-year starter, quarterback transfer from Grovetown.
Running a new offense this year is Lakeside, and it's going to be just short.
Just shy.
That's Whitaker.
It looked like Justin Barnes, who's one of the big kids on this Lakeside team, 56, was trying to, and Justin Barnes did a good job blocking there, but just short. He was trying to tell the official, hey, it's first down. Easy Barnes right there, 56.
So a Ken Nugent one call, that's all moment early in this game for Steve Hibbets. And it looks like he's going to leave the offense on the field.
Yeah, I don't
Fourth
think
and 2 from the 34.
Any doubt the way they've been running the football so far. I don't see any reason not to, although no sap in the backfield this time. They still get it.
Kyron Stiles, a senior.
That's the interesting thing. Preseason, we were hearing about Tamarcus Elam. Early, Kevin Sapp. Second half against North Augusta, Devin Gardner. We've already seen Grissom and Stiles. They got a lot of kids they're going to let run the football, it looks like.
And my apologies, that was Jerome Isaac picking up the first down. Fairway forward first down as it is to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, Greenbrier just lost so much off this defense. Bo Sugart's the big name who's at the Naval Academy playing football for Navy, but
well, he did a little bit of everything for them last year. So on first down, this is Brooks Weeks as Hibbets continues to run different running backs in and out at the Wolfpack. Steve Hibbets, 30-44 in his 8th season in charge here at Lakeside, has taken the Panthers to the playoffs 5 straight times. And before that, of course, he was at Westside from 2010 to 2014. Took them to the playoffs a couple times.
He's done a good job here, like creating a fun atmosphere, creating something the kids want to be a part of. And the program had kind of maybe gotten a little stale in the previous years. And there's Sapp with a nice run.
Powerful run across the 20. Into the Augusta disposal and recycling red zone for the first time.
Micah Thompson is a kid really highly thought of here at Greenbrier, but this time Sapp gets the better of this little mix. You see him just run over the defensive back, number 13, although Sapp did lose a shoe on the way.
Most important number for Steve Hibbets in this game, he is 5-2 against Greenbrier.
Well, and the most important number in this game, the actual game, is time of possession, and right now, this is the recipe for a win for them, keeping this football as Whitaker hits a nice run here. Nothing fancy about it, just methodically move down the field, and Greenbrier has got to figure out a way to stop this run. I said one of the keys, make them throw the football, pack everybody in. And Lakeside right now, you know they're going to run it, but they still have been able to move right down the field.
Pickup of 8 on first down for Whitaker.
Sapp in the backfield now. There's 200-pounder, number 8. Good vantage point there.
Sapp. No. Whitaker.
It was a great fake by Whitaker, but it didn't fake Greenbrier out.
Well, if we're having a hard, we have 7 cameras on it, and if we're having a hard time keeping up with it, imagine what it's like to be on the defense.
Yeah, A.J. Truck, number 33, right in the middle of that, the senior. I mentioned the Georgia Southern signee. A lot of people feel like he is going to be one of those late bloomers that gets to college and just flourishes. He's still young and thin, and once he fills out a little bit.
3rd and 2.
And it looked like maybe the center exchange there was
going to be 3rd and 7.
Yeah.
False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay the down.
Last year, Lakeside 2-9, 1-3 in Region 3-6A. A rough year for the Panthers. They only averaged 8 points a game, giving up 30 a game, but what a difference a year makes so far.
Yeah, and Greenbrier's coming off a year where they won 7 ball games, playing in a difficult region. And they were a playoff team, and one of the top, most prolific offenses in the state, certainly in the area. So here's Tamarcus
Elam. Needs to get to the 10, going to be about a yard shy. And another decision for Steve Hibbets, who has one of the better kickers in the area in Will Hadaway, who missed the first game of the season with an injury.
Yeah, I just don't, even though you got a great kicker and this game might be close, I don't see how you even consider anything but going for it. 4th and short, you've been able to run the football pretty, at will on this drive. People don't realize, you look at the skill position guys they brought back and you think, okay, they lost Reagan Collette and they lost Bo Sugars. They lost a few key guys on this defense, did Greenbrier, to graduation.
Big play early. First down, Sapp inside the 5.
Well, they easily get it. And again, Greenbrier, no answer for this running game so far.
Another fairway forward first down. And it is 1st and goal, Panthers, inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah, there's nothing fancy about this at all. Just we're going to line up, we're going to run the football, and can you stop us? And so far, Greenbrier has not been able to stop Lakeside.
Isaac in the backfield again. He'll get the call. And maybe one.
Well, one of the leading returning players for Greenbrier on this defense is Matt Knapp, number 58. He came diving over the top to kind of finish off that run.
That is the 12th play of this drive, which has already eaten more than 8 minutes off the clock. You talked about in your 4 keys to the game for Lakeside, controlling the clock. How about this?
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is just what the doctor ordered. I mean, and they were doing this a little bit in the North Augusta game, slowing the game down, making it ugly. That's what Lakeside wants to do.
It's Whitaker.
Boy, he
and
got
Greenbrier
hit.
was ready for that.
Well, he got hit hard right at the
Payne St. John, the first one in, I believe.
Yeah, also in there was, I think it was Alex Chatfield. Let me see who jumped in there. No, 42. Brooks Trollinger in there as well.
And then a wall of white. So 3rd and goal from the 3.
And again, if you're Lakeside, it's basically, can you get 3 yards and, 2 downs? Because obviously you're not going to go for it on 4th in the positions they did earlier, not do it here. And
there you go. Sapp, touchdown.
Kevin Sapp. I coached this kid in rec ball when he was 12 years old, and we had him on the line. He wanted to run the ball so bad, John. He was big. We had him on the line, and but even then, he had those good feet, the quick feet. And they said, he battled. He lost some weight. He, was ill during the off season. And I'll tell you what, he doesn't look like he's not 100% right now. He looks great.
Will Hadaway for the point after. And Lakeside strikes first. Panthers lead 7-0. Lakeside goes 58 yards in 15 plays and eats 8 minutes and 50 seconds off this first quarter clock to take a 7-0 lead.
Yeah, very impressive drive by the Panthers, taking advantage of that fumble by Malik Leverett.
And the Pack will take over at the 32. Well, Lakeside is a relatively new school, opened in 1988, but have several esteemed alumni. And maybe foremost among them, Reese Hoffa, one of the best to ever throw the shot put. There he is at the 2012 London Olympic Games, where he won
really eating that medal.
bronze. He probably was. 2006 indoor champion, 2007 outdoor champion, went from Lakeside to the University of Georgia. Our very own gold medalist, Reese Hoffa. Greenbrier from its own 28, and absolutely nothing. Johnny on the spot is Kyron Stiles, who we gave credit to earlier on the run. Now he gets credit on the tackle, and we have our first Augusta Auto Auction sideline report of the night with Matt Lane.
Thanks, John. That's right. We're down here on the field, as you saw on that first drive, or for Lakeside, just an incredible use of time, taking up the entirety pretty much of the first quarter. For Greenbrier, that makes it so difficult to really get anything going. You almost have to have a series or two to really get your legs underneath you. And right here, having to put something together, it takes big plays like this in order to be able to get your offense going. Back to you, John.
Well, Greenbrier's going to want Matt Lane to just call the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Brooks Pangle with a huge game.
Well, that's one thing everybody talked about. You know, he threw 31 touchdowns, a county record, 2,900 yards and all that. But the one thing that stands out, he's got a vertical of about, a pretty high vertical, like 37, and he can run about a 4.6. He's a pretty good athlete in addition to being a pretty good quarterback.
42 yards on the pickup, 1st and 10 from the 30-yard line or 29-yard line. They try to swing it out to Chad Claiborne, and he's driven backwards.
Yeah, it was going in the wrong direction there. Devin Gardner on the coverage.
I'll tell you, as we look at the Busby's Heating and Air replay, visiting with Steve Hibbets this week, he really, really likes this team. He loves these players. He said they have worked so hard in the summer. And a lot of coaches will say stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you and I have known him long enough. He really seems to like this team, yes, and what he's seen so far.
Well, and you can tell maybe in some of the early play calls that Greenbrier's a little concerned about the pass rush from Justin Barnes and Kevin Sapp. Here's Barnes chasing down Pangle now.
Flag back behind Pangle as the pass falls incomplete.
Trying to go to Davin Driskell, the 6'6", talented athlete. Get free French fries, large fries, as a matter of fact, when you download the McDonald's app today and start earning points on every order. Points you can redeem for free McDonald's with the new My McDonald's Rewards. Only in the app. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
And the penalty was against the Pack. I'll put them back at the 44-yard line.
Well, tonight, again, keep an eye on 56 in black and 8 in black. If they're in the backfield a lot while Pangle's trying to throw, that is going to be a disaster for the Pack. They've got to find a way to block those two.
See the T-Mobile Students section. Blackout night here at Lakeside. And also Daddy's Money theme night.
Y'all
Make of that what you will.
We played it down.
As the Panthers give 5 yards back.
Greenbrier graduated Braden Collette, the receiver who caught 21 touchdown passes last year. An all-time record in the CSRA and one of the top all-time performances in the history of Georgia.
And I've had at least 2 coaches this year tell me that Greenbrier was really going to miss Collette.
Oh, yeah.
But they still have plenty of weapons, and here's one of them. Pangle gets free. Still on his feet. Inside the 20. Out at the 15. Greenbrier into the Augusta Disposal and Recycling red zone.
Well, if you told me the early story for the Greenbrier offense would be Pangle, I would believe you. If you told me it was him running the football, I might not.
Well, believe it or not, that is the final play of the first half. Lakeside leads the first quarter. Well, not quite that quick. 7-0 Lakeside. They're going. Well, they got a little bit of a jump on us. Did the Wolfpack, and Brooks Pangle runs for another 7 yards.
Yeah, Pangle's looked good running the football so far.
And our QBs by the quarter brought to us by Ace Culpeper Hardware. Culpeper Ace Hardware.
Yeah, 2 of 2 passing, but just 1 yard for Pangle, but he's run the ball. That was his 4th carry, but in the first quarter, 3 carries for 56 yards. And Jason Whitaker of Lakeside, 4 carries for 13. He's yet to throw the football. And here's Jackson Clayton, and it's going to be let's see.
No sign yet.
No sign yet, but it looked like a score. It is a touchdown.
Greenbrier says it's a touchdown whether you say it or not. And the Pack on the board for the first time.
So Jackson Clayton with a good hard run at the end of the play there. Brooks Weeks tried to bring him down, but not before he gets into the end zone. Well, you said that Coach Kramer said it was going to be a fast game.
Yeah,
Both
during
teams
our
running the ball.
visit this week, Tony Kramer said they thought this would be a quick ball game, one way or the other.
I didn't believe it. I didn't believe they were going to run the ball as much, but they're running it right now.
As Wilson Donnelly puts it up and through.
You know, that's just part of him thinking that, you know, and he told you this, he feels like they've got to be a little more balanced on offense. Last year they threw it so much.
Well, last year they averaged almost 300 yards a game passing, 271 to be exact, and only 55 rushing yards. And when I talked to Coach Kramer yesterday, he said he wants to be a little bit more balanced, but they're having to find some running backs, as you mentioned.
Well, that's why Malik Leverett has been in the backfield some, and he was a terror in the middle school ranks running the football. He averaged over 200 yards a game. But, you know, Pangle last year attempted 356 passes.
Wow.
And the drive, 6 plays, 72 yards. Only took them 2.5 minutes.
What a job Tony Kramer has done with this Wolfpack program since taking over. As Gardner brought down inside the 25. Kramer in his 7th season, 26-38 at Greenbrier. He's taken the pack to the playoffs 3 straight times. If he can do it again this year, that would be a school record. They went to the playoffs the first 3 years, 96 through 98, under Coach Terry Holder. But they've never been 4 straight years.
Yeah, those were some fun teams Coach Holder had. Matter of fact, you talk about balance, those Holder teams were almost 50-50. And Mark Thornhill, the former great Georgia baseball player, came over from Evans to Greenbrier and was the quarterback on that first team. And
there's always a Thornhill at Greenbrier.
They had some talent though, and you know, just Tony Smith and James Shanks. And that penalty is going to be against Lakeside. And by the way,
y'all penalty.
I was speculating earlier. So we were talking about Braden Collette and how important he was to the offense. 21 touchdown catches last year. He was just the ultimate, you know, dependable receiver. And the guy who was supposed to take that spot was Jackson Smith this year. Matt's telling us he's got a knee brace on. So I was wondering why we had not seen him, and I guess he does have an injury on his right knee, Matt's telling us.
So wish him a speedy recovery. In the meantime, here is Sapp looking for running room, but it was
Marcus Elam.
It was Elam. And Brooks Trollinger drags him backwards.
Well, good job initially by Davin Driskell, the 6'6". You know, he's a kid getting some looks early on. Virginia was really high on him, and he did a good job turning that play in back to the rest of his defense.
A.J. Trupp helped finish it off.
Driscoll's one of those guys that when you go to the workouts, you know, he's 6'6", 200 pounds. He just stands out. Last year he had a pretty good year on the offensive side, caught over 20 passes, but he did have a few drops. Defensively, he had 41 tackles. He wears number 17 and plays kind of an outside linebacker spot. Nowhere to go that time as Greenbrier was ready up the middle.
That'll bring a 3rd down situation. But going back to Tony Kramer, there had been so much turnover in this Greenbrier program before he came to be the head coach. They had 4 coaches in 5 seasons before he got there.
Yeah.
And he was no stranger to the program. He coached at Columbia Middle for 10 years, had 3 unbeaten years there, spent a couple of years at Evans as the defensive coordinator. But he makes no bones about it. He wants to retire at Greenbrier. And he has built quite a program.
It is a great atmosphere, a great school. Academically, it's a good school. And he's wanting to build this football program. And, you know, they had a good year last year, but again, taking that next step, getting deep in the playoffs is what they're looking for.
Need 12, swing it out to Elam, and no, not this time.
I tell you, Trollinger's played pretty good so far tonight for Greenbrier.
Oh, there is a flag late.
Here's to Marcus Elam.
Hey. On the offense.
Well, it is on Lakeside. Got another interesting Columbia County matchup tonight between
Evans and Harlem.
Yeah, Evans, who, you know, they've kind of been the Columbia County power the last few years. Harlem, you know, you lose Cameron Garnett, you know, maybe a down year. Then you find out Jeremiah Ellison's out for the season. You really think, okay, they might be in tough strait. No, they come out and beat Aquinas, come out and beat Greenbrier, and look like they may have one of the best 1-2 combinations running the football in the definitely in the area.
Well, careful here if you're Will Hadaway, kicking out of your own end zone. Greenbrier's going to have great field position. As Leverett.
Well, good roll for
let it go,
Hadaway.
and it's going to roll all the way to the 40-yard line. And Greenbrier will take over at its own 42, all tied at 7. The Wolfpack take over at their own 42-yard line, all tied at 7. It was a 47-yard punt off the foot of Will Hadaway. It looks like he's back to 100% after missing week 1. Low snap for Pangle. Wants a bunch. Has it.
Oh, what a catch.
What a
he
catch
stayed
by
in
Malik
bounds.
Leverett. Another move. Leverett. Touchdown.
Well, that's what he can do for you. That is why he is listed on all the recruiting websites. And they're going to say he stepped out. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds, and they're right on top of it. So
back at the 20-yard line.
But look at this throw and catch, just right over the shoulder. And I tell you, not a lot of receivers can make this adjustment. Leverett looking over his shoulder and kind of had to turn over. Let's see.
Yep.
So that last little hop.
At the 21.
Wow, that would have been a huge play. It's still a big play. Gets him all the way down to the 20.
37-yard pass play from Pangle to Leverett.
You mentioned last year 63 catches, and he was the number 2 guy on this team.
Into the Augusta disposal and recycling red zone go the Pack.
And Kramer using the run to open up the pass. That, you know, that's what they want to do. And here's Jackson
Clayton to the corner. Pylon. Touchdown.
His second of the game.
So after Lakeside, more than 8 minutes off the clock in its touchdown drive, Greenbrier scores in 2 plays. The long strike to Leverett, and then Clayton with the score, his second of the evening. Wilson Donnelly on for the point after. And it's good. So with 8:30 left to play in the first half, Greenbrier jumps back ahead 18-7. We talked about the esteemed alumni of Lakeside. You have Reese Hoffa. You've, of course, got Charles Kelly and Dave Haywood of Country Music Fan. How about this?
Wow.
You know this guy?
Oh, man.
Wait a minute. Here comes my favorite part. Most school spirit.
How did you dig this thing up?
I have to give props to our good friend, Dr. Rodney Tyson, the first-year principal here at Lakeside, who took a little field trip to the library for me today.
Oh, wow. That second picture, I don't even know if I've ever seen. I guess I have. It's in the annual. I don't remember, though.
Now, last week we had Augusta Christian, and Matt Lane told us several times about his 200-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
Are there any stories you would like to embellish?
Let me see. No, I was pretty average.
Hey, I didn't get a superlative, so you're doing better than I am.
Here's the funny part about that. I transferred from Evans 2 weeks into the school year. I had only been at the school 3 days when they voted on that, and I guess they thought, hell, if he left Evans, he must have the most school spirit. He really wanted to be here.
That's great. Matt Lane says he got funniest at Augusta Christian.
Yes. Student of the year.
Oh, now he's
always trying to one-up, you know.
So the Panthers will take over at their own 28-yard line. Down 7, 8:20 left to play in the half. And I believe it was Sapp, but hard to tell in the pile. It was Jerome Isaac once again.
Well done, John Hart. I got to give you credit on that. I did not see that coming.
Give Dr. Tyson an assist on that one as well. The 80s music in the background was all me.
Oh, Lordy.
Class of
89.
You were the first
graduating
class,
yeah. First graduating class.
This is Brooks Weeks spinning ahead for 5. Going to be about 3rd and 4. The T-Mobile student section, we mentioned, blackout night, and it is packed. I'm telling you, about 20 minutes to kickoff. The line to get in this place was wrapped down to Old Evans Road, or Blue Ridge, I should say.
Yeah, my daughter, she's a freshman and coming to her first football game, really. And she was worried about the line, and I said, oh, don't worry. I tell them I'm John Hart. They let me right in.
Hey, everybody, I hope you're sitting down. Lakeside threw a pass.
Wow.
How about that? And it worked, and it's complete to Sapp. There is a flag down late. It is a first down for the moment.
You might remember, though, when we did Grovetown last year, and I think it was against Thompson, remember that their 2 quarterbacks got hurt.
15 from there.
Whitaker came in late in the game and actually looked pretty darn good and threw the ball.
True.
He can throw it.
But that one's going to go for naught.
Now, the momentum really shifted. I mean, it looked all
Replay third.
like all Lakeside early, and nice bounce back for Greenbrier.
The result of all of that's going to be about 3rd and 7 from the 32.
2-0.
And I mentioned you were class of 89. The school opened in 1988. The stadium didn't open until 1995.
Yeah, we shared with Evans early on.
Yeah.
You know, those were, and we, you know, it was fun. I enjoyed my time at Evans. I went there 3 years. And Lakeside was interesting because everything was new. I mean, we only had 88 seniors. Evans had 800 seniors.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, Evans was so crowded, there was 2,800 students that they had to put metal poles down the hallways to make people walk on either side just so they could get to class. And then Lakeside, of course, was built, and you know, it was we had some fun times over here that in the early going for sure.
Well, we have some time here. Let's see if we can get a first look at our South Carolina Governor's School of Honor scoreboard, or of agriculture scoreboard.
Well, Steve Hibbett's not interested in the scoreboard right now. He's chewing out the officials about something. And let's look at it. Evans, that other matchup we mentioned, they lead Harlem 6-0. All these games are in the first half. Burke County playing a good Richmond Hill team coached by Matt Lazat, 7-6 there. Augusta Christian taking on a really good opponent this week, Athens Academy. That game is in the second quarter, 21-7. Swainsboro leads Statesboro 7-zip. Midland Valley leads Pelion. That would be a minor upset, 13-6 there. And how about Grovetown? Tied with North Augusta right now, 7-7.
And again, this Lakeside team hung with North Augusta till the very end.
Yeah.
In fact, if you're a Lakeside fan, you can probably pin that loss on Nathan. Lakeside was driving down 10-0 in the fourth quarter. Nathan and I were standing at the opposite end of the field and said, let's walk down there and see Lakeside score. As soon as we get down there, Lakeside fumbles. So that's our fault.
Well, in my early preseason stuff, I had North Augusta 1. I had, you know, and I wrote it in the article. I think I may have Thompson 2 or 3. And I wrote it in there that there's no dominant team this year. You really could flip a coin in a lot of situations. And it's about, so right now in the early going, the team that's looked the best is probably Thompson. North Augusta doesn't, for whatever reason, doesn't look like they got a lot of chemistry going. Harlem has looked very good. Evans has looked good as well. And those would be 3 teams that have really stood out to me. Augusta Christian as well, although they've got their hands full tonight. Those are some of the teams that I think have really stepped up and looked good. Silver Bluff, you could throw into that in Lincoln County, and they got a tough one tonight with Westside. So, again, to be the best team in this area, it's wide open right now. It could be anybody, and who knows. But like I said, so far I would say Thompson's probably looked the best.
We will see that Silver Bluff, much improved Silver Bluff team a week from tonight. If you didn't hear this week, we've had a change in our schedule due to a COVID situation. We were going to have South Aiken at Strom Thurmond. That game's not happening, so we will be at Silver Bluff next week to see Fox Creek and Silver Bluff.
And Silver Bluff hammered South Aiken earlier this year.
Well, speaking of hammered, in the backfield, A.J. Trupp. Well, he had 65 tackles a year ago, 6 of them for loss. You can chalk another one up for loss here.
Well, he did it. He played that as perfect as a defensive end could play it. He stayed at home. The ball carrier ran right to where he was. He didn't let him get to the outside. Perfect play that time by Trupp.
And a loss of 3 for Elam. And a kicking situation for the Panthers.
They got 3 back guys to block here. It doesn't look like Greenbrier's really coming after it. Well, they got closer than I would have thought.
Chad Claiborne will let it roll. And the Pack will take over at the 22. Great punt by Will Hadaway. He had a 47-yarder the first time out.
Well, Hadaway is a good one, and he can kick it from a long range too, not just punt.
And that one was 48, so he's consistent.
He's only a junior. He'll have a chance to kick somewhere at the next level maybe. He's a soccer player who really didn't start playing football until middle school. And over at Stallings Island, he would blow people away because, you know, kickoffs in middle school don't usually do this. He was booming them into the end zone every time, you know, to stop anybody from a return.
Well, Greenbrier with a chance to put some distance between itself and Lakeside here. It's the big stand for the Panther defense. And on first down, through the gut is Jackson Clayton.
Well,
2 touchdowns and a big first down.
I got to give this kid credit. I didn't know much about. I knew the name from just coming up through the ranks in Columbia. I didn't know much about him. I saw him on tape from the scrimmage, and I thought, dang, he looks pretty good running the football. And, man, in person, he looks awful quick. He's not a big kid, but he is quick hitting that hole.
19 yards and a fairway forward first down at the 43-yard line.
And Pangle motioning for Clayton to go out to his left.
And Pangle will keep, and Pangle will have another fairway forward first down across midfield.
Yeah, he's done a really good job tonight running the football. And again, I got to say, I doubted what Kramer was saying. I thought, you know, Pangle threw it 356 times last year. I'm sorry, I don't believe you when you say you're going to try to run the football as much. But that's what they've done tonight. Now, they did have and if you can run the football, it opens up those deep passes to Leverett and to Driskell, your big play guys at receiver. And we saw that earlier on the 38-yard pass to Leverett.
They marked Pangle a yard shy, so he will keep for the first down and then some. Flag in, down at the 32.
Well, so far.
First down for the moment.
So far, the team I'm most impressed with
Holding
might be Hart
on the offense. 10-yard penalty for the spot of foul. You play down.
Greenbrier looked pretty good tonight.
29-25 was the final of that final of that game a week ago. Greenbrier led that game 25-14 in the second half, and Tony Kramer telling me during our visit this week that turnovers. All credit to Harlem for forcing those turnovers, but he said his team has got to hang on to the football. And of course, they fumbled on their first drive tonight, but so far it hasn't hurt them, leading 14-7. And there's good Clayton again. And that will be a first down.
So Pangle bringing them up. Greenbrier has, after falling behind 7-0, they have kind of taken over this ball game here.
Nathan telling us Wolfpack have already run for 125 yards.
It's almost more than they had last year. I'm kidding. They had more than that.
Now at 132 after the 7-yard run and a timeout Lakeside.
Yeah, 132 yards on the ground in the first half for Greenbrier.
Well, Tony Kramer said they wanted to wanted to run the football, and so far they have.
Well, and again, after the first drive, it looked like Lakeside was just going to have their way running the football, but Greenbrier's defense has stiffened a little bit, and definitely Greenbrier's offense has stepped up running the football. And I still say the problem with it, if you're Greenbrier, you can key Lakeside's run. If you're Lakeside and you start keying this running game too much, that's when Leverett and company are going to hurt you in the passing game.
Speaking of Tony Kramer, hard to believe because it doesn't seem like he's been at Greenbrier that long. He only needs 7 wins to pass our good friend Mickey Derrick to become the winningest coach in Greenbrier history.
Coach Derrick, and I've been around a lot of coaches from the time I was 5 years old through 22 playing sports, and you won't find a more genuine, nicer, better example for what a young man should be than Mickey Derrick.
Clayton with a big gain to the 30-yard line, and I second your emotion there about Mickey Derrick. One of the easiest coaches I ever had to deal with.
He's just a class act. I knew of him coming into Evans, and I got a chance to play for him. He was the JV baseball coach my freshman year. And, sometimes when you play for a JV coach, it's just 1 year. He's not somebody you think of years later. But Coach Derrick had a big impact on a lot of kids over at Evans. Coach Holder and Coach Black and Coach Cassidy and some of those guys, maybe even Coach Connor got more attention. But I tell you, Coach Derrick at Evans and at Greenbrier had a big impact on, hundreds of kids over the years.
14 yards on the pickup for Clayton, and it's first down from the 30 and a timeout. Greenbrier this time.
Greenbrier trying to go up by 2 scores here. And Jackson Clayton, 5 carries, 71 yards.
Wow.
For the senior tailback.
While we've got a moment, let's take you back down to the sidelines for another Augusta Auto Auction Sideline Report with Matt Lane.
Thank you, John. As you're seeing right here from Greenbrier, they're doing what Lakeside did to them really in that first quarter with that long drive. Greenbrier trying to run the ball now to really run this timeout. And if you're Lakeside, for a team that really likes to stack double-digit play drives, it makes it a little bit harder if you get down a couple of scores to really come rearing back. So we'll see if Greenbrier is able to get it in the end zone, but more importantly, if Lakeside can get a stop here before halftime. Back to you, John.
Matt, thanks. The T-Mobile student section on the Greenbrier side, I think. It's hard to tell. Everybody's in black tonight.
Well, not going to give it away because we've got a scoreboard coming up, but I will tell you this. We might have an upset brewing. A big one in the CSRA.
Oh, flag coming out of the timeout. That will not make Tony Kramer happy. So make it 1st and 15.
Just got a message from a viewer that's watching the game. They don't make him any better than Mickey Derrick. The only cuss word he knew was fiddlesticks. Love it.
But guess who?
Yeah, Jackson Clayton. In their scrimmage, he had a long touchdown run, and he also had another run that kind of stood out to me. He took it to the left in the long run, and when he decided to make his cut, I was like, whoa, that was impressive. And he's kind of come out of nowhere. You look at Jason Williams out of Harlem. Usually by the time kids get to this level, you kind of know who the ones are, who are going to be the key guys. And those two have really come out of nowhere. Williams especially, one of the top players, maybe the player of the year so far in the area.
2nd and 11, and going to make it a little more manageable. 3rd and about 6, as Clayton is just doing work tonight.
Yeah, he's up around 80 yards or so on just 7 carries. See what they decide to do here on 3rd down and about 6 or 7.
Third down.
The student section for Lakeside
is hype.
Fired up.
Oh, boy.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, replay the down.
Matt Lane reports from the field that the student section, let's just say there is no room at the end. So the Wolfpack back it up 5 yards, now 3rd and 12.
Yeah, that changes things a little bit.
Man, I might take a shot here. He does.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
it's a touchdown.
Wow.
Davin Driskell.
What a catch. And like I said, he struggled with the drops a little bit last year. But that's the advantage when you've got a 6'6" guy going against probably a 5'10" defensive back. And it's just, I mean, and Pangle put it right where you needed to. I mean, he threw it up a little bit.
Can't throw it any better.
But he threw it right where you needed to. What a job holding on to that one by Driskell. And again, early on, he had an offer from Virginia. And sometimes that happens early on and then it backs off. This kid will play somewhere. He went to a ton of camps this summer. And what a catch that was, and a good throw by Pangle.
Donnelly's point after gives Greenbrier a 14-point lead. Boy, these T-Mobile student sections are both on fire tonight. 31 yards, the scoring strike from Pangle to Driskell.
And if you're Hibbets, you got to be disappointed there. You're able to get the penalty, so it goes from 3rd and 7 to 3rd and 12, and then you give up the touchdown pass. And really, the defensive back was right where he needed to be. It's just Driskell made a better play on the ball.
6 plays and 76 yards. Took 4 minutes and 11 seconds off the clock. Did the Greenbrier drive. Well, Driskell, last year, 22 catches for 251 yards and 2 scores. And we mentioned at the top, tons of Division I interest. Virginia, Army, Air Force, among others. The season is young. Correction, I said 6 plays. 7 plays on the previous drive for Greenbrier. So we'll see if Lakeside can answer with 93 seconds left in the first half. Don't forget, coming up at the half, the Eichholz Law Firm halftime show. We'll hear from the Greenbrier band and the Lakeside band. We'll shine a spotlight on our host school this week. Our weekly visit to our home school. This week, that is Lakeside High School. We'll introduce you to our Ray Guy Award Punters of the Game, brought to you by the Augusta Sports Council. All that coming up on the Eichholz Law Firm halftime show with Matt Lane. And if you got some family from out of town, they can watch too. We're live streaming. Watch the game live on your smartphone, see replays, watch the play-by-play on WJBF, free on the WJBF News Channel 6 app. Just go to the App Store, download it.
Yeah, I get messages all the time from folks who are from out of town that are kind of keeping up with either their alma mater or a relative or something like that.
Sapp with a good tough run on first down.
And then we got some that are just, you know, I mentioned the Lowell Cleveland who watches in Kansas City. If he's a kid, he's a guy who played at Evans, big guy that played at Evans back in the heyday of the 80s for the Knights, and he just loves local football, and he watches the games. We got a few like that.
Have him send us some barbecue.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely getting to bring some back.
Go across the border to Oklahoma Joe's. Sapp will pick up the first down.
And Driskell, who just caught the pass, finished off that tackle. That's the difference in Greenbrier and some other schools their size, is the fact that they don't have the depth where they do play a few guys both ways. They don't play them the whole game, but you'll see Leverett and Driskell on defense.
Looks like Steve Hibbett's content to take this to the locker room. He does have one timeout left. And as I say that, they take a deep shot, but a nice play back there to break it up by Micah Thompson. Had 2 picks last year, almost had another one there.
Well, they're high on this kid. He's a youngster and just a junior, and man, he did a great job reaching back to tip that ball and get it away. Good deflection there. Whitaker, though, looked good. He threw it on the money. Just a good play by the defensive back.
.2 seconds left in the half.
And, man, what a turn, though. It looked like late in the first quarter, this might be all Lakeside. I mean, they really dominated the first quarter, and boy, what a second quarter for Greenbrier.
And now Coach Hibbets will burn that final timeout. Greenbrier still has one.
Yeah, this is an impressive turnaround for the Pack. After falling behind 7-0, and didn't look like they really had an answer for Lakeside's ground game.
Well, it gives us a chance to remind you about football Friday night coming up at 11:35 over on WJBF News Channel 6. Brendan Robertson, Colin Cody. We have cameras all across the CSRA tonight. AB and I'll have a look back at this one.
I ran into Brendan this couple nights ago. You never know where you're going to see him out and about.
That you do not. Football Friday night, 11:35 over on WJBF News Channel 6. But we've got business to attend to here. 27.2 seconds left, and on 2nd and 10, it's Tamarcus Elam. And he'll be close to a first down, and I think he's got it, depending where they put the football down. And first down up to the 47-yard line, pickup of 16.
So Elam with a nice run, and if they have a breakaway runner, he's probably it. I mean, Gardner does have breakaway speed. We haven't seen him run the ball tonight much, but if they have kind of the breakaway game breaker guy, it's him. Sapp's more the big, strong, going to beat you up the middle guy. And then the big hitter is number 5, Elam.
21 seconds left in this first half.
Get down there and take a shot, because what a nice catch by Elam.
Elam.
That would have been a disaster.
With a paw, and then picks up about 7 more.
Yeah, this could have been really bad.
Now they're going to mark him out at the 50, it looks like, so it'll be a gain of 4.
If they get about 20 more yards, maybe even a little less, they're in Hadaway's range.
You would think they would need to get somewhere around the 25 or 30.
I think the 30.
30?
Yeah, he can kick it. Yeah, I think if they get to the 30, it's a legitimate chance for him.
Some misdirection. Elam and Greenbrier not buying it. Marcus done. .9 seconds left.
And they might have to do something to get the clock straight. As Matt was pointing out, they didn't start the clock.
There was also a flag late.
Yeah, and then they let it run. Well, there's a flag on Greenbrier. That's big. That
is a big play for Lakeside.
That puts them down, getting close to that field goal range. It should be, about the 33 or 34.
They can get to the 30.
I think he can make it from there.
That'd be a 47-yarder.
Yeah, I think he could make it from there if he has time. I don't know that they would.
Well, here we go. We're going to get our wish. 10.9 on the clock.
Now, this is going to be a 50-yarder.
This will be a 50-yard attempt by Will Hadaway.
And actually 51 where they're spotting it. And, good for him to get the chance. That shows you some confidence Hibbets has in this kid. 51-yarder.
Snapped. Hold. Going to be short.
Just short, yeah.
By about 5 yards. And that's how the first half comes to an end. I like the call there by Steve Hibbets, though.
Yeah, give him a chance. Why not?
And later on this season, he may, when his leg is completely healthy, he may be able to hit it a 50-yarder. So, the Eichholz Law Firm halftime show is coming up with Matt Lane. As we are at the half, Greenbrier leading Lakeside 21-7.
Welcome down on the field for our Eichholz Law Firm halftime show. Right now we're going to check in with the Greenbrier High School marching band as they are playing in progress. We'll check them out. And welcome back on the field for the Eichholz Law from Halftime Show. We're joined now from our friends from McDonald's. As you all know, McDonald's presents the offensive and defensive players of the game at the end of the game. But we always like to check in with someone affiliated with McDonald's. And tonight we have Shawana Walker, GM at the Furious Ferry location. Is that right? Can you, I mean, what an incredible night for football. It's finally starting to cool off a little bit. I'm sure you enjoy that as much as I do.
Yes, sir, I do.
And there's a ton of people out here tonight. Can you just speak to how important it is for McDonald's to be involved in the community, not only just throughout the community, but especially through high schools?
We support the academic and the athlete team with anything. We even help them with the
With a lot of stuff that they have going on, a lot of programs and a lot of different.
Yes, sir. And over the summer we donated. Over the summer we donated food to them to help them out with the sponsorship over the summer as well.
Is it cool, especially at your location? Do you have some of the student athletes and especially some of the students at the school that work with you?
Well, I actually do. And I have one right here, Jay. He graduated year 4 last, and he actually played football.
Played football here?
Yes, he did.
Can you speak to how football kind of prepared you moving on, getting a job, training, the ongoing process of that, how getting involved with McDonald's, but really kind of blossoming from a student athlete, moving on to being a working man?
Well, the coaching staff here, they helped me with being a leader, so that helps me with new people coming in and stuff. So, yeah, that's it.
So, really quick, before we let you go, I always like to check in and see if there's anything you guys got coming up, any type of promotions or anything that may be on the horizon for y'all.
Okay, we have the we have the loyalty program that we're doing right now, and we have the new pull-apart donut that we're promoting right now.
Those both sound delicious, so I'm going to have to go check those out. I want to thank Shawana Walker and also Jay for joining me down here on the field. Hang tight. They're going to join us at the end of the game to hand out some hardware for the offensive and defensive players of the game. Until then, we're going to take a break and be back with some more band action here for the Eichholz Law Firm Halftime Show. Greenbrier High School Band. Now we're going to have an opportunity to check out Lakeside here as they get ready to go out and play.
Lakeside High School, you may take the field for your halftime performance.
And welcome back to the Eichholz Law Firm halftime show here at Lakeside High School. Just had a chance to check in with Lakeside High School's band. We want to give you a chance to get to know some folks around Lakeside High School a little bit better. So here is a little run through that we went through this week, checking out the school, talking to some administrators. Here it is.
At Lakeside, we initially opened our doors back in 1988, and for the past 33 years, we've been working extremely hard to establish that legacy of excellence in the community, and I think we've done a great job of that. The one thing that it means to be a Panther, we have a philosophy here where all of our students are seen, heard, and loved every day, and it's a sense of team and a sense of pride in Lakeside, and we say, one team, Panther pride. And to me, that just kind of sums it all up. Everybody's bought into that Panther vision, that one team, that Panther pride. We have a freshman academy, and what that does for us is it allows us to slowly integrate our freshmen into that high school experience to make sure that they have a smooth transition from middle school to high school. Everyone in the community kind of knows that we have a tradition of excellence when it comes to academics. However, we have a small group of kids that have wanted to go above and beyond that, and we challenge those kids through our IB program. And that program gives them a specific curriculum that they follow. If you go into a classroom, what you're going to see teachers that are passionate about teaching, are kids that are fully engaged. And that filters over into that one team, that Panther pride.
The kids are all great. We're doing a lot of fun activities you can see around the classroom. And the enthusiasm from both the students and the parents is absolutely amazing.
Here at Lakeside, we have a very robust athletic program. We've got lacrosse, we've got soccer, you name it, we've got something for every kid. Our athletic program is top-notch, and so is our band and our chorus program. If you have an interest in anything as far as extracurriculars go, you can find a fit here at Lakeside High School. We've got something for everybody. One thing that I want to say about Lakeside and what makes Lakeside so special, it's hard to describe it, but there's a feel. It's that culture, and you can feel it when you walk into our building. I think it's very important for us to have our kids back. While some students did very well in that learn from home environment, it's very, very nice to have them back in the building because we do some special things for our kids here at Lakeside. And then, as I said, our teachers have been here for a while. They've been here, the majority of them, 10, 15. We've got some teachers that have been on staff since the day that this school opened its doors back in 1988. And that goes a long way towards that family, that culture, that sense of pride. And that's the one thing that makes Lakeside a special place.
We are Panthers!
And welcome back on the field for the Eichholz Law Firm halftime show as we checked in with Lakeside High School there. Really quick, want to hand out some hardware for the Augusta Sports Council Ray Guy Award winner punters of the game. In terms of Greenbrier, the punter, number 4, Wilson Donnelly, a sophomore. And also for Lakeside, number 91, Will Hadaway. We've seen him punt some pretty good ones so far this game, a junior for Lakeside High School. Those are our Augusta Sports Council Ray Guy Award punters of the game. And after this, we'll check back in with John Hart and AB. Back after this.
The Eichholz Law Firm halftime show continues with our QBs by the quarter for quarter number 3. 2.
All right, looking at the stats for the first half for Brooks Pangle. Pretty good, John. He was 4-4 passing for 70 yards and a touchdown. And running the football, how about 5 carries for 73 yards, averaging 14.5 yards a carry. On the other side, you've got Jason Whitaker, the quarterback for Lakeside. Whitaker, 5 carries for 15 yards. He also threw the ball twice, completing one of those passes for 4 yards. Pangle also did have the 1 touchdown, a 31-yarder to Davin Driskell. And by the way, Driskell, I was talking about how Virginia offered him early. He does have offers from a couple of the service academy. Navy and Air Force have both offered him.
That's QBs by the quarter, and that is your Eichholz Law Firm halftime show. Second half kickoff is coming up. Greenbrier leads Lakeside 21-7. Almost time for the second half kickoff. Greenbrier will receive after deferring the opening kickoff. And I'm telling you what, a Wolfpack student section, the T-Mobile student section, nobody went anywhere at halftime.
Both student sections. Those are the visitors.
Yeah.
I mean, the home team.
You don't ever see a visitor student section that full.
And that end of the game, it's halftime. It's not like fourth quarter with 2 minutes left.
This is fun. This is what rivalries are all about.
Absolutely.
So, the first half, if you look at the stats, on the scoreboard, 21-7 Lakeside, and one of the biggest discrepancies, how about the yards per play? 13 for Greenbrier, 4 for Lakeside.
Well, and it's the combination of Pangle breaking the long runs and also the 2 deep throws, a 38-yarder to 11, a 31-yarder to Driskell. And it's first quarter, it looked like Lakeside was going to be able to control the ball, run the clock, and score at will. And then Greenbrier's defense stiffened up, and you got to give them credit for that. They're packing everybody in, begging Lakeside to throw it. I would assume we're going to see Whitaker throw the ball some this second half with them down. But Greenbrier's offense also, the combination of Pangle and Jackson Clayton have looked great.
Pangle, perfect 4 for 4 throwing the ball in the first half with the deep touchdown pass. So off we go here in half number 2. And it'll be the Wolfpack on offense first. And I believe the Panthers have it.
That is a gutsy call.
And
Nathan's saying he predicted
a flag.
that.
There is a flag.
Did it go 10 yards? That was a gutsy call.
Usually when there's a flag on this, it means it did not go to 10 yards.
Yeah, did somebody touch it before 10? That's the key. But what a gutsy call. I love it. I really like that.
Well, you're trying to get your team
You are, and
light a fire under them, down 14.
Not only does it get you the ball, but just the kids get so fired up on a play like that. And let's see if it works, though.
This is a big call.
First touching.
Yeah.
On the kicking team, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Yeah, touched it before 10 yards, apparently.
Well, that is a heartbreaker for Lakeside, but a big break for Greenbrier, which will have the ball at midfield.
By the way, our spotter and statistician, Nathan Edwards, coming through with the refreshments at halftime.
He did.
I give him credit.
Very well done. And if they were our sponsor, we'd tell you what he brought us. So the 45 after the 5-yard penalty. So the Pack in great shape. And they dominated the offensive stats in the first half. 225 total yards to just 104 for Lakeside. But Lakeside did what it wanted to do. It held the ball 14, almost 15 full minutes. Greenbrier just 9. But Greenbrier strikes quick.
Looks like Pangle's changing something up here.
Yep, audible.
He's got 5 wide receivers.
And 2 of them Division I prospects. And I don't know if that was a busted play, but Pangle is in all sorts of trouble. Still on his feet.
He got a
back to the
block
original line of scrimmage and then some up to the 35-yard line.
He got a great block, but let's see if they call a block in the back.
Oh, yep, there's the flag.
It's going to be a block in the back, I think. If you watch, and I couldn't tell, I think it's Micah Thompson right here, 13, bottom of your screen. Right, I'll tell you where it's coming. Is man, great job by Pangle to elude all those defenders right there. Oh, and you know what? Man, that looked like a pretty clean block.
So the end result will be first and about 23, it looks like, from the Greenbrier backed up to its 44-yard line.
The one thing I do like, Pangle's a kid, we talked about he threw the ball 356 times last year. 4 attempts in the first half. You don't see him worried about that. He's worried about winning this football game, and I like to see that.
Steps
he
up,
sacked here and fumble.
And that's exactly what Lakeside needed. Kyron Stiles fell on it, and Sapp caused it.
Yeah, Kevin Sapp with the sack from behind. You'll watch here. Pangle stepped up into the pocket. He immediately got pressure from the outside from Sapp. And Pangle stepped up into the pocket, but Sapp, in pursuit from behind, sacks him, causes the fumble. and Styles able to get it.
And I go back to what Tony Kramer told me during our visit this week. He wanted his team to stop turning the football over. Another costly turnover for the Pack.
Yeah, that's 2. Last time Lakeside turned it into points. Let's see what they do this time. And Sapp, look at running hard. Looked like he was going to be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Instead, he's going to pick up about 5 yards, maybe more. Yeah, Matt pointing out that Greenbrier's a little banged up at linebacker. I did hear, you might remember the name Aiden Panzello was a really good linebacker here a few years back. His younger brother, Nolan, played in the JV game last night, and he's playing a lot tonight for the varsity because they are thin at linebacker.
This is Whitaker on the keeper.
Falls forward.
He'll pick up 3. So it's going to be 3rd and about 1. He's almost a full yard shy, and they move the ball back. So 3rd and 1.
Yeah, this is a big possession. You know, Lakeside trying to take advantage of the Pangle turnover. Down 2. You'd love a score here to make it a little more manageable. Here's Sapp.
First down, then some. A fairway forward first down to the 22-yard line. Pick up a 13. Sapp ran for 49 yards in the touchdown in the first half and picks up right where he left off in the second.
Well, you always hear the game, about the game's ebbs and flows. Well, Lakeside dominated the first, Greenbrier the second, and here comes Lakeside trying to come back. You mentioned the first half, Greenbrier outgained Lakeside 225 to 104. Both had 5 penalties, both had 1 turnover. Lakeside did have a bigger time possession. Most of that was that first quarter. But like you said, that yards per play, 13.2 to 3.6 really stands out.
Sapp again inside the 20. Augusta Disposal and Recycling red zone.
The individual leaders, we mentioned Pangle, 5 carries, 73 yards on the ground, 4 of 4 passing, 70 yards and a touchdown. Jackson Clayton, 7 carries, 79 yards and 2 touchdowns for him. For Lakeside, the leader was Kevin Sapp, 8 carries, 49 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, one of the players that stood out in the first half was number 42, Brooks Trollinger of Lakeside. He had 5 tackles. And to check that for Greenbrier.
Boy, good. And the ball is out again. Boy, oh boy. What a break for Lakeside. Gardner on the spot. He'll get it back at the 17-yard line.
It looked like Greenbrier was going to have it. 2 Greenbrier players right on top of it, but the ball squirts loose and Gardner able to get it. This is, you see it right there, just ripped out of there. It was number 32, Levi Wall, who ripped it out.
And the second half has started much like the first half did. We had back-to-back turnovers on the first 2 drives of the first half.
Yeah, Lakeside lucky there. They're able to get that one back.
But now facing 3rd and a long 1.
And Whitaker's going to keep it.
Whitaker's pushing. Can he get the push from the pile? And I don't think he got there.
It's going to be close.
He got a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is going to be a first down.
A couple of Greenbrier players slow to get up there. Micah Thompson and Reese Brooks, both. And Thompson's trotting off the field. Both a little slow to get up.
And Matt Lane reports from the field that Greenbrier is a little bit banged up on defense right now and playing some second and maybe even 3rd string players.
Yeah.
So this would be, if you're going to do it, this is the time to do it for Lakeside. 1st and 10 from the 12. They can get a first down without a touchdown. It'll be 2nd and about 6.
Well, Trollinger again in on a tackle. He's been one of the stalwarts on the defense for Greenbrier tonight. He and Trupp. And big possession here. Lakeside trying to get some points to get back in this. Down by 2 touchdowns.
They gave him 3.
On an absolutely perfect night.
Boy, for the first Friday in September, you can't ask for better than this. Yeah, I think, was that a flag that came in? It is a flag that came in late, so that's probably coming back.
Yeah, Nathan's saying holding. Nathan
Holding.
Edwards, our spotter and statistician,
Damn,
he is rarely wrong on the penalty calls. And the first down calls.
Don't let him hear you say that.
Yeah, he brought me his word for it.
That he did. So that'll back the Panthers up to the 20-yard line. 2nd and about 18. Need to get to the 2.
Misdirection.
Yeah, Gardner has a hole. Down to the 5.
You know, against North Augusta, he ran for 46 yards on 5 carries, averaging 9 yards a carry, and we had not seen him run it much tonight. So a nice little counter there with him.
You got a big chunk of it back. Got to bring up about 3rd and 4.
You know, Greenbrier actually played that well. They weren't fooled, but just good blocking up front by Lakeside.
And you would have to think this is 2-down territory here as the Lakeside has a player shaken up. So an injured timeout on the field while we try to figure out who that is and what the situation is. It is time for America's favorite segment. As always, the Stump AB trivia question.
I'm still proud of mine from last week.
Last week,
Kidding?
me, Matt, Nathan, and I all got together, and you stunned the world by guessing how many destinations Game Night Live has gone to within 3. You said, what, 31?
I said 31.
And it was 34 as we check in with the T-Mobile student section one more time. So this week's question, we talked about the notable alumni from Lakeside. We've got Reese Hoffa. We've got Charles Kelly, Dave Haywood, Ashley Brown. Well, Josh Kelly, also a rock singer, rock star, also from Lakeside.
Yeah.
He is married to the actress Katherine Heigl.
Yes.
So we're going to the world of entertainment for this week's trivia question. But I'm going to go light on you. I'm going to go easy.
Indeed.
All I'm going to ask you is, what was Katherine Heigl's character's name on Grey's Anatomy?
God.
Her breakthrough role. Think about it. We'll give you the answer. There are every woman watching right now, and some men, by the way, screaming at their TV.
Oh, yeah.
And so are Lakeside fans, because Kevin Sapp is in again, 2nd touchdown of the night.
Well, Kevin Sapp gets his 2nd touchdown of the night, and I haven't watched an episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Ever. Wow. I used to be addicted to it. I'm not going to lie. The Busby's heating their replay of Sapp's 2nd score of the evening.
I was hoping you were going to ask, like, her first movie, because she was in a movie with Steven Seagal.
It wasn't Knocked Up. It wasn't 27 Dresses.
No. She was in a movie with Steven Seagal where a train was getting, well, all his movies, a train's getting.
Hadaway's extra point is good, and just like that, it's a 1-score game. Lakeside back within 7, 21-14. Well, the Panthers marched 44 yards in 9 plays in 5 minutes and 49 seconds off the clock, and we got a ball game, AB.
Well, we do. That was impressive. And again, Lakeside, both their scores coming on turnovers from Greenbrier, and, you know, how they can eat up clock, Matt pointed out. They ate up 4 minutes just once they got in the red zone alone, not counting the rest of the drive. So Lakeside, you know, and when you're like that, you got to stay close. So that touchdown was big to get them right back in this thing.
By the way, I learned something during the commercial timeout. We have to make an addition to our esteemed alumni from Lakeside High School. I did not know that our statistician, Nathan Edwards, also a Lakeside Panther.
There you go.
But all of you unbiased tonight.
Very, very much so.
Boy, Hadaway. Goodness gracious.
Like I said, he was doing that in 8th grade. I was blown away. And, you know, again, he attempted the 51-yarder. They don't let him attempt that unless they think he, you know, unless they've seen him make it in practice.
Yes.
He just didn't catch that one. By the way, Jackson Clayton for Greenbrier, and I said he kind of came out of nowhere this year. I thought it was the case, but I wasn't sure. But a good friend of ours did clarify for me at halftime that I do know his dad, Craig Clayton, who was an outstanding baseball player at Lakeside. And Jackson, I had heard the name coming up through rec ball, and it is, in fact, his dad was a pretty good athlete here for Lakeside. Now, of course, Jackson playing on the other side for Greenbrier. There he is getting the ball.
Yep, Clayton. Needed a little help, didn't get it. Styles brought him down. Styles having a pretty good night on defense.
Yeah, his name's getting called quite a bit.
So we'll see how the Pack responds. Gain of 1.
Yeah, it's just been such a game of literally just completely different scripts. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, at least so far. See what Pangle can do. You know, he wants to redeem himself after coughing up the football on that hit from Sapp.
He's got Clayton with him. It is Clayton. Big hole. It's coming back.
Yeah, flag down. It's going to be holding.
Flag back behind the play.
Don't you, as a running back, you got to be so frustrated. You make a great run. And in some cases, the penalty, the hold might have helped you break free, but in a lot of cases, it has nothing to do with the play.
Illegal formation.
This
on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay the down.
Not enough men on the line is what I assume.
Greenbrier High School, no stranger to success. This is a school that has won seven state baseball championships, and of course, also state champions in soccer and a couple of softball state titles in there as well.
Yeah, they've been, you know, and it's the list of, you know, the baseball kids that have come through here, pretty impressive, including one who having a great year in the major leagues right now, Nick Sandlin.
We're going to talk about him in just a moment. And oh boy, looks like Greenbrier is going to have to burn an early timeout here in the third quarter. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them. And while we do have this timeout, let's talk about Nick Sandlin. What a year he has had. He graduated from Greenbrier, made his major league debut on May 1st of this year.
Could have been an all-star, by the way.
Yeah, and should have been.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you think about it.
If you look at the matrix, Sabre matrix, he was as good as anybody.
But all he's done since that debut on May the 1st, 34 games, 1-1, a 2.94 ERA, but 48 strikeouts in 33 innings.
And the crazy thing is, up until his junior year at Greenbrier, he didn't pitch in high school.
Wow.
He pitched as a little leaguer and then just became an infielder, and that's what he wanted to do, is hit and play infield. He was actually at a summer camp with another older Greenbrier player who had graduated, who had gone to college and learned to pitch sidearm. Sandlin starts throwing sidearm, and his velocity goes up like 10 miles per hour. And then as a junior, he's dominant. As a senior, he's dominant. Goes to Southern Miss and really was the best pitcher in college baseball for 2 years. And drafted high by another sack.
Yeah, Pangle in all sorts of trouble and goes down back inside the 5-yard line. And I think it was Sapp that might have gotten him again.
Man. Sapp is too quick for most offensive linemen. You know, Justin Barnes is kind of their power rusher. But Sapp's just, I mean, he's a running back on offense. He's just too quick for some of these linemen to deal with. And you see big number 79 for Greenbrier over there at left tackle, you know, having to deal with Sapp on certain plays. That's Colin Dudley. You know, he's a big kid, but and on this time, now Sapp's on the other side. So now the man on the island is Trevor Dolander.
3:22 left in the third, and Greenbrier's got to go a mile. 3rd and 20, and Pangle can fling it, but overthrows him.
Trying to go to Leverett.
And Matt Lane says the ball may have been there, the receiver wasn't. Either way, it's 4th down, and that's the first incompletion of the night for Brooks Pangle, who was perfect 4 for 4 in the first half.
Well, they may want to start doing something with their alignment to have a running back, giving a little help to whoever's got to block Sapp, because even on that play, Pangle had to get rid of it because Sapp was breathing down his neck. Gavin Sapp creating some havoc. As a matter of fact, the person who blocked him on that play, Trevor Dolander, he and Sapp were teammates on that 12-year-old team we coached in rec ball. So
Donnelly. Really good punt.
Thompson will down it.
The Lakeside Panthers will have it at their 44. Give us a chance to check in on the South Carolina Governor School of Agriculture scoreboard once again.
Yeah, let's look. We had a big upset brewing, and it's still going. Look in the top right-hand corner. Grovetown. They have just looked terrible this year, and they lead North Augusta 19-14. Athens Academy having their way with Augusta Christian. You see there 35-7. Statesboro on top of Swainsboro by 3. Midland Valley looking pretty good there, lead by 6. Barnwell continues to roll. They're up 26-8. Richmond Hill leads Burke County in a tight one. 2 good teams there. And then also Lincoln County, Blank, and Westside. And how about Evans? They leads 24-21 over Screven County.
Well, you know, this Lakeside team hung in there with North Augusta in week 1 as Sapp picks up about 6.
If you look at the history of that series, North Augusta has crushed Grovetown. If you look at how Grovetown's played this year, they have been outmanned. In their scrimmage, they looked outmanned. And then they come out tonight and they're beaten. You know, even though North Augusta may not be the best team in the area, and I thought they had a chance to be, they're still a team you expect to beat Grovetown. And I'm sure they were a heavy favorite in that game, but give the Warriors credit.
2nd and 4, clock down to 2:24 and allow less than that.
There's that little counter play again.
Elam still on his feet. How did he spin out of that? Now the ball spins out of him, but Elam very alert. Pounces on it, and that's going to end up being a first down for Lakeside.
Yeah, a little pushing and shoving there. Has to play Josh Moore trying to get that football. Elam recovers it after a nice run, and Lakeside, they've taken the momentum back. Watch this run. This is that little counter play. They fake it. Everything looks like it's going left. Then they come back right. Good blocking. And Elam does a good job. And Josh Moore was able to rip the football out, but Elam jumps right on it.
This Lakeside team is a team of momentum. You recall that we had the first quarter of the first game of the year before the Lightning postponed us until Saturday. We waited for almost 2 hours to try to play that game. The Lakeside team, I was down on the field trying to get information. They were ready. They had headgear on. They were jumping up and down in the locker room at 10 o'clock at night ready to take the field, but ultimately the decision was made to come back on Saturday as Sapp picks up another nice chunk of yards.
Well, Kevin Sapp, they better take him, let him get a massage and a nice dinner tomorrow because he is going both ways and going hard.
Had 49 yards and a score in the first. Already has another touchdown here in the second.
And he's just been wreaking havoc in the backfield defensively for Green against Brooks Pangle. I knew I was going to do that at least once. Call Brooks Shane, of course, his dad.
I don't think Shane minds that.
It was an excellent athlete here in the area over at Evans. Signed with the University of Georgia in baseball. And here comes Sapp again.
Yep. And were it not for Brooks Trollinger with another nice play, that could have been an even bigger game. Let's take you back down to the Matt Lane for another Augusta Auto Auction sideline report.
And you guys mentioned it, really getting that momentum back. For Greenbrier's defense, speaking about how many folks they have out, especially around that linebacking core, as you see number 19 actually getting up a little bit slow for Greenbrier. For Lakeside, this really physicality that they're bringing this second half is really starting to wear down Greenbrier, and you can kind of see it as we've seen the past 2 minutes. We've had a couple of players down. Back to you, John.
All right, Matt, thank you. Gabe Barriga, I believe, is the player down for Greenbrier, so we have an injury timeout here.
Well, we talk about the depth for Greenbrier. You know, last week they were up big, and Harlem came storming back as well.
It looks like they're working on his legs. Hopefully it's just a cramp or something like that. In the last break, while you were doing the scoreboard, they played Christina Aguilera, Genie in a Bottle. Do you know why that's appropriate with Greenbrier?
That was the song she played in concert here as a student won some.
She played Greenbrier's prom.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, back in, I believe, the year 2000. It was a contest, yeah. I want to say Cosmo or something like that. Barriga is able to walk off under his own power. That's certainly good news. as the clock ticks under the final minute, or under a minute here in the third. This time it's Elam trying to stay in bounds, does to the 16, pickup of 9. They'll give him 7. And the Panthers are into the Augusta disposal and recycling red zone once again, trying to tie it up.
Well, Greenbrier can't afford to lose anybody on defense, and especially not one of their starters, Matt Knapp. And it's twisted his ankle a little bit previous play.
On the final play of the third quarter, it is Isaac inside the 5. Picks up the first down. It'll be 1st and goal Panthers when we return. 12 minutes left. Greenbrier trying to hang on at 21-14. Man, this is fun. 1st and goal from the Greenbrier 8. Both student sections still full. And the misdirection, Greenbrier, look, they got tripped up.
Well, and also good penetration there. That was number 60, Jalen Wright Beard. First time we called his name tonight, but he busted through and made a good play. And Greenbrier does have a lot of backups on that defense right now. And Lakeside trying to take advantage of it.
Officially no gain, so 2nd and goal from the 8. Matt reports from the field, that the change of the quarter, the rest break in between the quarter really helped Greenbrier, which was starting to get a little tired. They have been on the field a lot. In fact, Lakeside had the ball for 8 minutes and 40 seconds of that third quarter. That'll tire out a defense.
Well, how about the yards? Lakeside, 103 yards in the third quarter. Greenbrier, -5. Greenbrier had 225 in the first half, -5 in the third quarter. By the way, Michael Bastillo with a great play that time to bring down Sapp in the backfield. He came storming in on a blitz from his linebacker spot, just shot the gap and able to bring him down. It's a big third down play here. If you stop them, you might force a field goal. If they get close, they would go for it. And here goes Elam. He's got the corner.
Wants the corner.
Oh, great job by Moore.
Wow, Josh Moore. Because Elam had the angle, and Moore shut it down.
And he slowed down a little bit. It's almost like he didn't think he'd get there. And no question, Moore closed the gap, made a great play. Now, he tackled him high, but he brought him down.
So here's a Ken Nugent 1 call. That's all moment for Steve Hibbets. You leave the offense on the field, try to tie it up.
No, I think with your kicker and as tight as this game is, you got to try to get some points.
Well, he does have one of the best kickers in the area, and Will Hadaway is going to attempt a 21-yarder.
This is big.
From 21 yards. And that one would have ended up on Blue Ridge Road if not for the net back there. But so here we go. Lakeside back within 4, 21-17.
Yeah, good drive by Lakeside, but as Matt pointed out, that third quarter break gave Greenbrier a little bit of a rest, and then what happens? 2 of their players come step up and make big plays to stop that drive and force a field goal.
Well, while we have a moment, might as well, because this looks like this is going down to the wire. Let's get the trivia answer. The Stump AB trivia question. A reminder, the question was, Lakeside alum Josh Kelly, the singer, married to Katherine Heigl of Grey's Anatomy fame and many other movies. What was Katherine Heigl's character's first or last name? I'll take either one, AB, on Grey's Anatomy.
Right. If I get this right.
Yeah? You got the phone in your hand. You're not Googling.
I'm going to quit. No, I'm going to quit. I'm going to take all the money out of my bank account, and I'm going to go put it all on one color because I've never seen an episode.
I can't believe that.
But for some reason, I think I'm going to get it.
All right.
I think her name's Claire.
Oh. No, her name is not Claire. Her name? Izzy Stevens.
Close.
Yeah, very
Izzy
close.
Stevens.
They actually met on the set of his video Only
That's
You
right.
back in 2005.
See, I knew that part.
Married in 2007. I could have asked you that. I didn't. And apparently she's also in a show called Firefly Lane on Netflix right now that I had not heard of, but when I was doing research for this last night, is all the rage.
Oh, wow. I haven't either.
Maybe you'll have to binge that one. There's a lot of football this weekend.
Yeah.
So Greenbrier will start from the 20.
Yeah, this is a big drive. Greenbrier has got to keep the football. That's first thing.
$9:44 to play. Pangle will keep and hit
great tackle by
hard.
Elam. Great hit by Elam.
Yeah, he's done it on offense all night. Now with a big stick on defense. Pangle did pick up about 4.
Jackson Clayton tackled. Good job up front, I believe. Oh, no, I was going to say that was Justin Barnes.
It was DeMario Henderson who he's the leading returning tackler on this defense. They call him the meatball, apparently.
Best nickname in the area right there. The meatball. Love it.
So 3rd and 4.
Again, this is big just to get the first down and keep the drive alive and keep Lakeside off the field because they have dominated the second half.
Pack needs to get to the 30. Pangle steps up, going to have to keep it. He'll have the first down, and it's out again. But
Goes out of bounds.
Yeah, I think Greenbrier's going to keep possession. It went out of bounds, and a huge break for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, great run by Pangle, but again, at the end, the guys are getting their hands on the football. You know, back in the day, you tackled somebody. Now people are just going for that football. Like, watch this.
There's also a flag.
Right? Oh, good job. I almost stripped that football out, and I was trying to get a number, but.
Well, it wasn't going to be a first down anyway. Illegal shift against the Pack. Yeah, legal shift on Greenbrier is the end result. And so that'll back it up to the 20-yard line, the 3rd and full 10. So that ups the level of difficulty just a bit for Greenbrier.
Well, you got to dig deep and be able to block here. You got to keep Lakeside's defensive line out of the backfield. And they haven't been able to do that.
And to the left of your screen, trips left,
There's
but
Styles.
Pangle and the turf monster got him that time.
Well, he had 32 Styles right on top of him. Nobody blocked him. And there was nothing Pangle could really do. You got to give him some time. And Sapp ended up making the play, but the guy who really made the play was Styles. Pangle had to retreat and kind of turn and run.
And so Greenbrier goes in reverse, and Lakeside, boy, if you're Steve Hibbett, you couldn't have drawn that up any better. You get the field goal to get within 4, and now you're standing at your 47-yard line. Well, the Panthers are going to have great field position here.
Well, Donnelly had a great punt last time. We'll see if he can do it again. And if you're Greenbrier, you're thinking, oh, here we go again. A timeout on the field, though.
That'll give us a chance to get our QBs by the quarter, brought to you by Culpeper Ace Hardware.
Yeah, through 3 quarters of play, Greenbrier's star quarterback, Brooks Pangle, 4 of 5 passing, 70 yards. He's ran the ball 7 times for 67. And for Lakeside, Jason Whitaker, he's ran it 7 times for 22 yards. He's 1 of 2 passing for 4 yards.
Nathan lets me know in the second half, no first downs and -8 total yards for Greenbrier.
You talk about 8 yards is just amazing
with this offense. But I tell you, it's a testament to this Greenbrier or Lakeside defense.
Well, if you make a couple of big plays and then your offense keeps the ball, and that's what happened. I mean, they had the ball almost the whole 3rd quarter, similar to what they did in the first.
Think back to the opening segment. Tony Kramer says we can't score if we don't have the ball.
Yeah.
And Lakeside has kept that Greenbrier offense off the field.
Pressure on Donnelly here. He's got to come away with a good punt out of his own end zone.
Low snap. Good job, Donnelly. And as usual, a really good kick. I mean, a great kick. At least 50, probably, I think 53 yards. Greenbrier Lakeside will have it again. 4 points away and 52 yards away. What's going to happen in the next 6 minutes and 50 seconds? Lakeside with the ball, down 4 and 52 yards away. And they'll go with Sapp. And he busts through. Sapp's gone.
He's gone.
He's a foot race. Touchdown. Panthers lead.
Well, it's fitting that Sapp did it. His 3rd touchdown run of the game.
52 yards. And this student section has lost its mind.
Well, Kevin Sapp has had himself a night. I don't know how, if Lakeside holds on, how he's not the offensive and defensive player of the game. He's got
Have we ever had that before?
He's got 2 or 3 sacks. He's got 3 touchdown runs.
Hadaway's extra point.
18 carries, 148 yards, and 3 scores for Sapp.
Wow. They have not been able to party like this here at Lakeside in a couple of years. And it's not over yet. Plenty of time.
Nathan just said the same thing I said. We've never had anybody win both sides, but he's deserving right now.
And a reminder that is coming up after the game, the McDonald's offensive and defensive players of the game, as well as our Powerade play of the game and our East Central Health District hit of the game. So lots to look forward to after this ball game. But plenty of time left in this ball game. 6:37 left to play. And this Greenbrier offense can strike quick. But we noticed during the last intermission, Malik Leverett is one of the best receivers in our area, if not the best receiver in our area. He's touched the ball through the air once tonight.
Well, he's touched it twice altogether. You got to get the ball in his hands. He did fumble on the one run, but he's a game breaker. You got to somehow get him the ball some. Not that Clayton hadn't looked good running the ball, not that Pangle hasn't, but your offense is stagnant right now. Negative yardage in the half.
And Greenbrier will take over at its 30, so keep your eyes peeled for number 18, Malik Leverett. We'll see if they decide to get the ball to him.
Well, you got to get it, whether he's running it or you're throwing it to him. You know, this is your D1 guy with all the D1 offers. He's got probably 7 or 8 D1 offers from big schools, Big 10 schools, Big 12 schools.
And you would think 6:30 to play, down 3. You want to get the ball into the hands of your best playmaker.
Well, and he and Driskell have such a height advantage, and here's a pass out into the flats. It's complete.
Well, that was to Matthew Moffitt, a sophomore. And he's shaken up a little bit. Just enough for a first down, 11 on the pickup. So first and 10 from the 41.
Yeah. They're going to run it with Clayton. Good head of steam up the middle.
Yeah, and pick up a 6 or 7.
This one's going to come down to the wire. It's anybody's ball game right now.
Well, we had a heck of a ball game on Game Night Live last week, down to the wire with Augusta Christian upsetting Richmond Academy. And it looks like we are set for another classic here.
You remember last year, this was a 26-0 Greenbrier shutout at Greenbrier.
Well, call it what Harlem is doing, the revenge tour, beating the teams that beat them last year. And Lakeside trying to do the same here tonight. Pangle fires quickly. First down.
What's so good about Pangle? Sure, you want to get it to your stars. I mean, you've got Driskell and you've got who's 6'6" and Leverett who's 6'4". You notice, though, he's not afraid to go to Moffitt. He's not afraid to go to Thompson. And that's with Jackson Smith out, who was their number 3 target last year.
There's Thompson on the reception. Pickup of 8. And into Lakeside territory at the 45. Pangle.
And a good throw there to Driskell.
Yep.
I like all these are safe throws. They're not just going for home run balls downfield.
Moves the chains again.
And, you know, they've got a pretty good kicker in Wilson Donnelly. He doesn't have the length probably that Hadaway has, but he's a pretty good kicker. And if Lakeside's able to stall this drive out, where would Lakeside need to get, or Greenbrier need to get? I think probably to about the 20.
Pick up a 15 on that pass play.
Ooh.
Now it's yeah, that's going to get a
face
flag
mask,
every time.
Yeah. And there was almost a mix-up in the exchange there. I don't know if you caught that.
Face mask.
That would have been devastating.
On the defense. 50-yard penalty. First down.
That face mask about ripped Jackson Clayton's head off.
Well, that is a costly penalty for Lakeside.
It puts Greenbrier in field goal range. Watch this. First off, watch on the exchange. See, they almost lost it there, but then look at
His
at that.
helmet completely flipped around.
And I love the defensive lineman can't help himself. I didn't do anything.
That was me. Tense times now in the T-Mobile student section.
This is the way it should be between two rivals. Both student sections into the game, having a blast, and the game coming down to the wire.
Again,
oh, what a run!
Clayton.
What a run!
A hole and a score.
His 3rd touchdown of the game. He says, I saw Sapp do it, I can do it too.
Back and forth they go, battling for McDonald's Offensive Player of the Game honors. And Greenbrier retakes the lead.
What was that, a 15-yarder?
15 yards out.
So Jackson Clayton with his 3rd touchdown of the night. And he's over 100 yards on the night, by the way, according to Nathan.
So Donnelly with a very important extra point here. And no problem. So now Lakeside needs a touchdown with 4:27 left.
Yep. Well, that is a heck of a drive by the Greenbrier Wolfpack. They had -8 yards in the second half. They get the football. Nothing's going their way in this half. Lakeside's taking the game, taking the momentum, and give Brooks Pangle credit. He puts the offense on his back, makes a bunch of good throws to get him down there, and then Clayton takes it in for his 3rd touchdown of the game.
And we were wrong. They didn't throw it to Malik Leverett.
No, they went to everybody else but him.
Shows what we know.
Everybody but him.
5 plays, 70 yards. 2 minutes and 10 seconds off the clock. A quick strike drive by the Pack. So now can the Panthers answer? A good return. One man to beat. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
B.J. Grissom with a huge return. There is a flag at the end of the play. Let's see if we can see it on the Busby's Heating and Every replay, but Grissom. And it is a face mask against the Pack. Man, man. So it'll be 1st and 10. So just like that, Lakeside is into the Augusta Disposal and Recycling red zone. Unreal.
This is the craziest thing.
From the 13, Elam to the 6. Four minutes, now less than that left to play.
What a game, man.
We have, I'm telling
nuts.
you, these last 2 weeks, heck, our only 2 weeks. So far, so good in 2021 for Game Night Live.
I picked a 1-point game, but I had no idea it was going to be close like this. You get lucky.
This time it's Gardner.
I tell you,
and he's hit at the line.
You know, he's come in and played well tonight for Greenbrier. It's Mike Castillo, number 20. He's a junior. And he's been in the back. But watch him here. He comes in out of nowhere and just makes the ball carrier cut back into the middle where all his help is. Yeah, 20's played a heck of a game tonight. Let's see.
The 3rd and 4.
Oh, huge play.
We have a Greenbrier player shaken up.
Really, you got 2 plays to get the 4 yards. And you've got Sapp and Elam in there. Let's see if they run that little misdirection. Looks like Elam's going. Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like he was leaning left. And here comes Sapp for the touchdown.
Corner,
his
4th score of the night.
Wow.
For Kevin Sapp. Greenbrier throws a punch. Lakeside throws a counter punch. And the Panthers lead 30-28. Like 2 heavyweight fighters tonight.
It's unreal. Unreal.
And there's still 2 minutes and 34 seconds left.
Yeah. And if there is a quick strike offense out of the group, it's definitely Greenbrier. Sapp now 155 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Hadaway's point after is good. And that was important because now a field goal only ties for Greenbrier.
Yeah, it's no doubt that was big.
Well, one of these 2 fan bases is going to be eager to watch the encore presentation of Game Night Live this Sunday at noon, each and every Sunday. Replay the game.
And if you're not necessarily a fan of either and just a fan of football, I encourage you all to watch it. This has been a good one.
If you were just getting home from your game or switching over from another, maybe a college football game, this has been a classic.
Well, and Kevin Sapp, these are the games that 10, 15 years from now when you're at the barbecue with your buddies, they're talking about the game where Sapp dominated. 4 touchdown rushes. He's got 2 or 3 sacks, a forced fumble. Just a monster game for Kevin Sapp, and it's so great to see.
And if they're our sideline reporter, it might be 8 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns.
That's right. Well, let's see. Hadaway certainly can kick it in the end zone. Let's see if they allow him to do that or what kind of kick they're going to try here. He's going deep.
They'll kick it deep.
And he has boomed it to about the 5, and it goes
Chad
through the return man's hand.
Laybourne couldn't get a hand on it, or got a hand on it, couldn't corral it. So touchback. And the Wolfpack will be 80 yards away.
Here's where you see what Shane Pangle and that offense, what they're made of. Pangle gets a lot of the attention around the area from all the reporters and around the state for that matter. Matter of fact, I saw a list the other day, top players in Georgia without D1 offers, and they were saying somebody offered this kid. Pangle was one of the 5 players they brought up.
On first down, Driskell.
I'll give Driskell credit. I got on his case a little bit last year for a couple of big drops. He has kept he's caught everything thrown his way tonight.
And it is enough for a first down, 11 yards on the pickup.
Well, the change them. The clock's running.
You see the time on the bottom of your screen. Pangle steps up.
Well,
going to keep it.
Yeah, get out of bounds if you can, and he's not able to. the clock's gonna run here.
Greenbrier has 2 timeouts. Lakeside has 3. And that'll get us down to under 2 minutes.
Well, they got the timeouts left. If you're Pangle, you got to get out of bounds, I think. And
trying to get at the sidelines.
Great
Couldn't
play.
do it. Great play by Gardner on the tackle to keep him inbounds. Clock continues to run.
Well, not only did he keep him in bounds, he stopped him short of the first down. The flag down. Let's see.
2nd and 4. And a flag against the Pack.
It's going to be holding, probably. It is. Wow. Lakeside might be able to get this one now. I mean, they got Sapp, Epperly up on that defense. Let's see. Nobody has been able to keep Sapp out of the backfield.
2nd and 13.
Clayton goes in motion.
Pangle again, flushed. Gonna heave.
Oh, he had him.
And guess who?
Malik
Leverett.
Couldn't hang on. The defensive back is excited making a motion, but Leverett had him beat. He just dropped the football. What a throw, though, by Pangle, because he was almost hit. I mean, watch this. He barely got this throw off. There's somebody in pursuit, and he gets the throw off and just put it right on the money. Oh, and if you're Leverett, I know it was maybe a little bit to your outside shoulder, but you got to make that grab.
Cameron Johnson in coverage for Lakeside.
Yeah.
3rd and 13.
This is huge, huge play here. This might be the ball game, this play right here.
Not going to get the first down.
Nope.
Another great play by Gardner with a shoestring tackle. Now Ken Nugent one call. That's all moment for Tony Kramer. Going to be 4th and about 2 from your 40-yard line. And with 1:05 left, I mean, you got to go. And if
they're definitely going. I think the question is the play. And here's what I would do. I drop back Pangle like it's a pass and do a design quarterback draw. Let Pangle run. He's looked good running the football tonight. You can't take a chance and run it. I think like a design run. I think you have to give him the option of run or throw with the idea run it if you can.
Well, Tony Kramer.
The clock will stop if you get the first down. Then you get up to the line of scrimmage and get ready to play.
You know they're going to go. I know they're going to go, but we have to make it sound dramatic so we can do the.
Well, the one call that's all is what are they going to do?
Well, yeah, sure. We'll do it that way.
Like
How about
what
that?
play they're going to run.
This will be interesting.
They're definitely going. And I think you have this is going to be a design run for Pangle, like a potential draw type play. Let's see.
The crowd will tell you.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
They don't even need to do it now. And the man who's had the monster game, unfortunately, made a mistake there, Sapp.
On the defense. 5-yard penalty. Result of the play will be a first down.
Well, that is a huge play.
Big gift for Greenbrier.
Gives them the first. They might have got the first down anyway, but they would have had to run clock. And if they stayed in bounds, once the chains were set, more clock would have run. So that saves them some valuable time.
Pangle needs a block.
He's got to throw it.
Almost got him. Did he complete that? He sure did. What a catch by Chad Claiborne.
What a throw and catch. The catch by Claiborne. Wow.
Fans are screaming that the clock wasn't running.
Sapp almost tackled him, and what a catch by Claiborne.
2nd and 4, and Pangle will spike it with 50 seconds left. The Pack does still have 1 timeout left.
Well, anything inside, if they can get about 10 more yards, they're in striking distance on one play. Man, what a ball game. We had a great one, with Augusta Christian and Richmond that came down to the wire, and boy, this one's been good as well. Let's see what they do. Clayton's in the backfield behind Pangle. We're going to put Leverett in motion.
The entire stadium shaking as the crowd yells for the defense. Pangle needs time. Going to run for the first down. Needs to get out. He does with 41.9 seconds left. And hold everything. It's coming back. Holding on Greenbrier.
Yeah, Pang was frustrated with that one. He ran, he got out of bounds. Plus you lose the time.
Well, look, these are two fan bases and student sections that work together every day. They hang out together every day. And one of these two is going to get to rub it in the face of the other for the next 365 days in 40.8 seconds.
That was over a 20-yard penalty. I mean, they would have been inside near the 40 on the other side of the field.
Now all the way back at their 37. 3rd and 15. Pangle going to run again. Now heave it down the sideline. He's got Driskell.
Oh,
and Driskell breaks free.
You got to be kidding me.
Touchdown!
You got to be kidding me. Oh, my
With 29 seconds left.
You have got to be kidding me.
Davin Driskell.
What was that, 60 yards?
62 yards.
Unreal.
And the Greenbrier side explodes. The Lakeside fans cannot believe what they just saw.
Unreal. And what Pangle has taken a beating tonight, and to throw that ball the way he did, and Driskell makes the catch. What a play.
Now, Donnelly's extra point, again, huge, because Lakeside has 29 seconds, 3 timeouts.
And they've outran the last kickoff back.
Almost ran the last kickoff back, and they have Will Hadaway, one of the best kickers in the Augusta area. So keep your eyes on this extra point. How about that? I believe it was Gardner that got his hand on it, and there is life for Lakeside.
Wow.
They're saying Cameron Johnson here in the press box.
That's big, like you said, because of Hadaway.
So 29 seconds left. And Lakeside has a chance. I mean, listen to this crowd. This is
Unreal.
fantastic.
This has been fun, man. This has been. And it's not over. I mean, we've seen crazy things happen. What's happened here has been crazy.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
What a great job.
Are you kidding me?
Jermaine Rockymore, one of the up men. Great hands.
Now they only need to get about,
25, 30 yards.
20 yards.
28.36 ticks left, 3 timeouts.
Wow. You can't, kick it out of bounds.
Jermaine Rockymore.
Kick it out of bounds there. At worst.
What a catch. That's one of the best catches of the night. Now the question, how far can Will Hadaway kick it? They'll go to South.
And there's a hold.
There's 4 scores, and that's coming back.
Yeah, going to be a hold on. Well, hey, they might want only 1.4 seconds right off the clock.
Holding on the offense.
Oh, wow.
Number 1.
Hey. So they'll back him up to the 47-yard line. It'll be 1st and 13.
Hey, and not only is this not over because of Hadaway chance to tie it, it's not over because they could break a run. We've seen it happen a bunch. They got us a blackout, a literal blackout.
Well, I thought this was planned with the LED lights because of the timeout. But it looks like we have a power outage here. Is that what we have? Look at it. If we, that's cool.
That
if nothing else, this has given us that moment. Which when are we ever going to see that at a high school football game? Both sides have now gotten their cell phones out
That is
and
crazy.
waving them back and forth.
That is crazy. I'm
like
an old
it's a
guy. I
concert.
wouldn't have been able to do it that fast. Get the light on.
Just
That
when we
is
thought we'd
awesome.
seen everything in this game.
That is very cool.
Well, they have the LED lights here, and you know, so many of the college
Yeah.
the stadiums can turn the lights out, turn them back on. Burke County does it when they score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And now they're back on just like that. I thought it was planned at first.
Oh, man. Nothing's going to surprise me tonight. This has been a good one.
Wow. And Nathan brings up a good point. Back in the day before LED lights, that would have been a 30-minute delay to get those things back on. First and 13 from the 47, 27 seconds left. And now another flag and another motion penalty against Lakeside.
And who do you pick player of the game? You got Jackson Clayton, you got Davin Driskell, you got Pangle.
Ooh. It was a lot easier when
And that's
Lakeside
only if
was leading.
that's only if Greenbrier wins.
I was going to say it's a lot easier if when Lakeside had the lead. Tense times here on Panther Crossing. 27 seconds left, and now we have another stop and play. And I believe, yeah, Greenbrier calls its final timeout. They're not happy about something. So a reminder, coming up in 27 seconds, our McDonald's offensive and defensive players of the game, and you are also going to want to definitely tune in for Football Friday Night tonight at 11:35. Brendan Robertson and Colin Cody back at the station working hard as usual. Fellas, you might want to add some extra time for this game. It has been a wild one. Again, 11:35, the only 30-minute show in town dedicated to high school football. Football Friday night. Maybe, and I'll wrap this one up. What remains to be seen is what we're going to say. 27 seconds left, 34-31. But Lakeside, a long way to go now. 59 yards away from a touchdown. Whitaker gonna heave it.
Here it goes.
Got a man.
Oh.
He was looking for Dalton Howell, who was open. The important part for Lakeside, the clock stops with 23.2 seconds left. And by our best guess, they're going to need to get to about the 27, I would say. Let's say the 25.
Yeah, I think the 27 you're safe. Again, I've seen him kick them further. Obviously, game situation with the game on the line, it would be tight, but see what happens before.
I don't know what happened there. There is a fumble. Okay. And now Lakeside will call its final timeout.
We're contemplating player of the game.
Yeah, sorry for the delay. We have to pick the McDonald's offensive and defensive player.
One of them
the
had the game winner, but one of them had more touchdowns. It's tough.
So while we figure that out, a reminder, a change in our Game Night Live schedule. Next week we were supposed to be at Strom Thurmond in South Aiken, but with some COVID issues, we are having to switch course. And we're going to get a look at a very good Silver Bluff team that has really turned things around under D'Angelo Bryant.
I can't wait.
Great.
Yeah, I can't wait to see Travion Dunbar, the little running back, just a sophomore, had a monster freshman year. And here he goes, that man. Actually, that wasn't Sapp, that was Gardner.
Yeah, and the clock ticks, under 18, no timeouts left. 15, and the clock does stop with 15.3 left.
Well,
and Fox Creek, of course, next week coached by Lemuel Lackey, the former Evans coach, which both of these teams are very familiar with.
Yeah, They've ran it all night, but you got to throw it now, and you got to try to get the first down. And like you said, you need about at least 20 yards. I mean, you prefer 25 or more.
Well, first things first, you got to get the first down.
Well, true.
It's going to be 4th and 10 from the 50-yard line. You've got to get the first down, get out of bounds, and then try to, at that point, you're going to have time for maybe 2 snaps to try to get into field goal range.
And most teams don't have the asset of having a Hadaway who can kick it that far. I mean, a lot of teams don't, but at least in their case, if they can get around that 30 or inside.
Well, most teams you're talking about having to get to at least the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
So it's a nice luxury to have for Steve Hibbets, but you got to get him down there first. Well, one of these teams is going to absolutely get their heart broken here tonight, and that is a shame because this has been a great ball game.
Yeah, they played their hearts out, both teams. Both fan bases have been awesome.
You say it so often, you hate that one team has to lose, but one team does have to lose, and that team tonight is going to be Lakeside. Greenbrier with the defensive stand, and the Wolfpack are back in the win column.
Yeah, Micah Thompson tipped it, and it was almost caught. You had a Greenbrier defender and a Lakeside receiver after it was tipped by Micah Thompson, who came flying in, but it lands on the ground, and like you said, that'll do it. What a game by both teams. And this looked, again, Greenbrier looked like they took over in the second quarter, and then it was a dominant third quarter by Lakeside. So give Greenbrier credit. Those 2 touchdown drives they had in the fourth quarter, keep in mind, they had -8 yards in the second half, and then they come up with 2 long scoring drives. One of them, of course, the long touchdown pass that was the game winner from Pangle to Driskell with 29 seconds left. Unreal. What a game. I told somebody the other night I was going to watch the rebroadcast of the game last week. I don't do it often because I see the game, but I might do it again this week because this one was pretty good.
It has been an instant classic, and you can see it again, all you Greenbrier fans, this Sunday at noon over on WJBF. So Tony Kramer going to inch one closer to that, becoming the all-time winningest coach at Greenbrier. They'll be 6 away after tonight. And they'll go on to play Grovetown. That's their last non-region game. And this is, this is one of those games for Greenbrier. They have to, once they get in the region, they have to travel a lot.
Yeah.
I did the math last night. 910 miles worth of road trips. That's from here to Toronto.
Wow.
But those bus rides are a lot better when you win. And it is going to be a happy ride home tonight for the Pack.
Did you see that student section? That is awesome. It's so fun when you're a player and you got that kind of support. I mean, that is pretty special. And it's a shame because we go to some schools where there's hardly anybody there watching the kids play. What a difference it makes when you got a student body like that.
You said this would be a 1-point game. It was a 3-point game.
Whew. It was a good one.
As the teams shake hands at midfield, neither of these teams will forget about this one anytime soon. And with that, let's take you back down to Matt Lane for another Augusta Auto Auction sideline report and the victorious head coach of the Greenbrier Wolfpack, Tony Kramer.
Coach, how do you describe that game?
It's a rivalry game right there. I tell you, that's what these two schools do when they play. I know the last couple of years, both ways it's been lopsided, but 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a game like that.
Well, it seemed like there was ball control to this game. There were exciting plays in this game, and then back to ball control. Did that play at all into your preparation for this game, or did something like that just sort of happen?
Well, that's what they do. They're going to possess the football, and they're going to keep it away from you. And when you mix in turnovers on our side that we got to continue to clean up and give them more possessions, it's hard to put points on the board. And we're lucky enough to have some guys make some plays tonight, and that's what it took.
A little bit banged up on defense. They looked really tired out there again with Lakeside putting together some pretty long drives. What would you say to them right now, or what are you going to say to them in the locker room?
I'm going to tell them that you never give up. Even when the scoreboard is not in your favor, we got the ball with just over 2 minutes, and you never give up. And I'm going to tell you what, they didn't give up either. They had less than that, and they fought to the very end. So hats off to Lakeside.
Well, thank you very much, Coach Kramer, for your time, and go celebrate with your team. Back to you, John.
All right, thank you, Matt, and congratulations and on a memorable win for Coach Kramer and this Greenbrier Wolfpack team.
Well, and by the way, I want to mention something. Coach Kramer was giving Lakeside a lot of credit, and I want to do it as well. Kevin Sapp, one of the games of the year probably, 19 carries, 155 yards, and 4 touchdowns, and he was dominant on the defensive side of the ball as well. At least 3 quarterback sacks, 1 forced fumble, all over the place, and again, the 4 touchdown runs. That kid had a ball game for sure.
Indeed he did. But the victory goes to Greenbrier, and the continues on the Wolfpack sideline. We have some hardware to hand out when we return. The McDonald's offensive and defensive players of the game, as well as our Powerade play of the game and our East Central Health District hit of the game, all coming your way in the post-game show is next. Your final score from Panther Crossing tonight. Greenbrier, a winner, 34-31 over Lakeside.
And welcome onto the field for our McDonald's offensive and defensive players of the game. We're going to go ahead and hand out some hardware really quick. And with us, we have Shawana Walker from McDonald's, going to hand out some hardware. And we'll go ahead and hand it to our offensive player of the game, and that's going to be Davin Driskell. 5 catches, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, but really the most important one, as you saw at the very end, the long catch, the even better run after the catch, getting into the end zone, solidifying the game for the Greenbrier Wolfpack. And Davin, can you kind of speak to this game, the back and forth nature on it? I know you played some defense too. Some ball control, kind of seemed like the game was going by quickly, but out there on the field a little bit slowly. How did you feel the game progressed?
I would say that it's good that the team kept pushing, even when there were times we were down and sometimes we started to lose hope. But as long as we kept pushing, and as you can see from the results, we ended up coming out on top. So.
And you guys doing a little bit more running of the football this year. How's that gone to you in terms of, you might get projected to catch a few less balls in a game, but certainly you'll take these every day, right?
Yes, sir, of course. As long as we're getting yards, as long as we're getting touchdowns and winning, I'm fine. I can go outside and block. It doesn't even matter. As long as our team's winning, I'm good.
Our McDonald's offensive player of the game, number 17, Davin Driskell. For defense, number 42, Brooks Pangle, not feeling well, so he wasn't able to make it over, but an incredible game for him. He's our McDonald's defensive player of the year. Terrific game here for Greenbrier at Lakeside High School as they get the big win against a rival. Back to you, John.
All right, thanks, Matt. Congrats to Driskell and Greenbrier, and just what a great game tonight. And we'll wrap it up here in just a second. But
well, and you can see why Driskell's got offers from Army and Air Force, a couple of service academies.
Yes, sir.
Well-spoken
no, sir.
kid,
Love it.
Team first. By the way, I also want to mention Jackson Clayton could have easily been the offensive.
He was our other. It's 1A and 1 and 1A.
Yeah, he had 11 carries, 102 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But Driskell did catch the game winner, so tough to beat that.
All right, we're not quite done with the accolades just yet. Time to get you our QBs by the quarter for the fourth quarter, as always, brought to you by Culpeper Ace Hardware.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Brooks Pangle had himself another good game. Not the monster offensive numbers that we're used to seeing, but still, how about 11 for 14, 196 yards, and 2 TDs. A really solid game. And then he ran the ball 10 times for 69 yards. So a great game there. And then for Jason Whitaker on the other side, 1 of 4, 4 yards passing. He did run for 22 yards on 8 carries.
And with that, let's get you to our Powerade play of the game.
Yeah, not a... Let's see.
We're finding out as you are.
That might be the hit of the game.
I think that was the that would be my guess. That was the East Central Health District hit of the game. Now we'll get you our Powerade play of the game.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt what this is going to be.
Nope.
And look who's in pursuit. Their defense all over him.
What a grab by Driskell, and to get loose.
Wow.
60, what did we say, 62 yards?
62 yards with 29 seconds left to win the game.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
What a game. What a game. What a game. All right. So, AB, I'll ask you the same question Matt Lane asked Tony Kramer. What do you say about this one?
I like what he said. Neither team gave up. They both slugged it out. I want to give kudos to the student sections too.
Oh,
the support
incredible.
They had was awesome, and it's what you want in a rivalry football game. You couldn't ask for any more. And the big stars though came up big. I mean, Pangle, one of the top returning quarterbacks in the state. Driskell with scholarship offers. They step it up when the game was on the line.
We won't forget this one anytime soon. AB, appreciate it. Real quick, I want to say thanks to our crew. We'll show you some shots from around the field here as we get ready to say goodnight. Evan Garrett and Kyle Thomas. Kyle Thomas doing a great job directing. He's our first-year director here on Game Night Live, and we appreciate it. Mike Lobakowski on the replays, Josh Recor on graphics, Jeff Singleton on audio, Reggie Mackey, Rex Bain, Benji Mays, Zach King running our cameras, Brandy Heath on the sidelines, Scott Skadden, our red cap tonight, and as always, keeping us on the air back at WJBF. Levi Crawford. We want to mention them every week because they get out here so early and they work late into the night to make this happen, and so we definitely appreciate our crew. Don't forget, coming up on Sunday at noon. Well, we'll do Football Friday night first. Football Friday night coming up at 11:35 over on WJBF. Complete recap of this one, and we've had some barn burners elsewhere in this county that you might want to stick around for.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it. There's some good ones.
Yeah, so 30 minutes of high school football coming up for you, 11:35 with Brennan and Colin over on WJBF News Channel 6. And then Sunday, catch the encore presentation of this instant classic, Greenbrier and Lakeside. You can relive it Sunday at noon over on WJBF News Channel 6. 1 week from tonight, a reminder, we will be in Petticoat Junction, Fox Creek, at Silver Bluff. We will see you then. Until then, for Matt Lane down on the field, our statistician, Nathan Edwards, our broadcast partner, Ashley Brown, John Hart saying good night from Lakeside. We will see you 1 week from tonight from Petticoat Junction.